Welcome to the Integrated Mind podcast, where we help you connect your mind, your body, and your soul. I'm Belle, your integrative psychotherapist.
And I'm Nicole, your integrative nurse practitioner.
So today's topic is rest being such a vital tool for success. So whether you've had a big event or when you're going through a big life transition, the importance of rest and understanding the symptoms, how to identify and how to recover from exhaustion and burnout. So getting right into it, it's funny because we just had our biggest open house, such a successful open house last Friday.
Way more people than we expected.
And it lasted much longer than we expected. So that in and of itself was very, very draining. But the funny thing is that we decided to do this podcast with all of our mindspa equipment, which is a special room that we have in our space that is a little bit of a sanctuary where we have PEMF, we have red light, and we also have the brain tap device.
Mm-hmm.
And if you want or not want, the IV goes with it. But this is also an opportunity for us to recharge from a very exhausting but yet beautiful event.
And I think a space for us to just get grounded again.
Yes.
And back to our mission, back to our podcast. And what a better space than in our healing sanctuary room, our mind spa, to continue the conversation. And we will be continuing to have our podcast sessions in here. Nice, cozy, comfortable.
Yes.
And just having real talk conversations.
Yes. So going back to the topic of recharging and resting for success, for me, and you can say for you, Nicole, after our event that we put a lot of hard work into, it was a Friday. I did nothing that weekend.
Yeah, it was such a high that we kind of just came crashing down, all positive.
Yeah.
All positive. But we both talked to each other that Saturday morning and we're like, we're just exhausted.
I literally didn't get out of bed. I think I walked. No, I take it back.
Bed at 10.
Yeah, I slept. I went to sleep at about 10 at night, 9:50, 10 p.m. And I didn't wake up till 10:20 the next day. I haven't done that since I was in college, maybe high school. I'm usually not a super early riser, but a decent riser in the morning. And I just could not get up. But I did move my body. I did go for a light walk. I did go and have lunch outside my home with my family. But again, as soon as I got back home, I just tucked myself back into bed and just did what I wanted to do. And I think that's super important, going back to our topic, because we have a stigma, as in when we rest, is you're lazy.
You're weak.
You're weak.
Not productive.
Exactly. All these labels that we have in our society, which is so high focused on accomplishments and doing, that we really don't appreciate the importance of resting and resting in order to succeed. Because if we don't rest, then we're just going to deplete ourselves.
Yeah, I think that, and even it's very minimal in this example, but I think the only time people rest is when they're extremely sick.
And the other thing, I mean, you just brought up something beautiful, because some people, even when they have the sniffles, they use that as a way, okay, I'm excused now that I'm able to rest.
Mm-hmm.
Even though it's not something that's that severe.
Right.
But it's kind of in their way to rationalize, you know what, I am tired, I am going to take a rest.
So what were you feeling? I mean, we can kind of go together. Like, what were you feeling the morning after our open house that made you signal, okay, you're a very intuitive person, so am I. What were the signs that you were like, okay, I'm going to take a step back and do me today and slow down and not be the provider of everying, just
the doer,
just hone in and.
Yeah. And that's something that's very difficult for me, because I am a doer. I'm like, let's go. But the fact that I woke up at 10:20 in the morning, that in and of itself, I was like, what? Am I wrong? I had to like check the watch. But I felt good at the time. Like I felt good as soon as I woke up. I would say probably like after I brushed my teeth and walked out, it was kind of like the thoughts started coming in. Is this okay? Am I allowed? Did I do enough? Da da da. Like the whole mind starts racing, because we do have those belief systems still there, especially that our society really pushes. But I was able to say, became aware of those racing thoughts that were not productive. And I said, oh, no.
Like I needed this.
I needed it. And I felt good as soon as I woke up. It's not like I felt
Guilty.
depressed or anything like that. Like I'm like, whoa, this feels good. So I compared that. If that is the first emotion that I feel as soon as I wake up, then why is that bad? So that was comparing already. Okay, I felt positive as soon as I woke up. These racing thoughts came after, which I am already aware that those racing thoughts are a lot of our society's expectations and the expectations that we put on ourselves throughout the years. But I was able to be aware of them and stop and just go on with my day and understand that I wasn't going to be as active and as, hyper or productive that day, but it was okay.
Yeah.
It was okay.
And I think that's the mission of our talk on this podcast today, that it is okay to slow down and rest. And
how did you feel? How was your experience?
I woke up fine. My body was tired. I could tell. We were talking and mingling and standing for hours. And, the day before we were setting up and doing a lot of moving. So I felt like as if I ran, exercised, like, you put me through one of those like Barry's Orange Theory type of classes. And I was like, and then I felt just emotionally drained. I felt, not really wanting to engage in social media, just very like isolated, and I wanted to ground, and I kind of wanted not a lot of stimulation. Like, because we did so much. We were talking, meeting so many new people, and like these are all like great, exciting things. But I was like, okay, I just need like a weekend of silence. And then we had, family obligations and stuff like that. So I tried to use majority of my days to, either meditate, go for walks outside. I didn't want to push myself, but I knew I didn't want to socialize or be like with new people. Like I just wanted to do my own thing.
But so I love that you said that, because you kind of made a differentiation of, okay, I'm still going to go outside and have a walk. I did the same.
Like I felt like that need for like nature and grounding, just like peace, like nature's peace. Like that's what I felt like.
Because people have the belief, right, that if they're tired, they're just going to not do anything and just lay in bed all day, which is not a bad thing. But again, it's incorporating some movement.
Right.
It doesn't have to be so extraneous or strenuous as it normally would be.
Yeah, I just felt like I needed to just slow down from my natural routine. And I find myself a pretty social person, so it's a little odd for me to like not want to answer my phone or not look on social media, but we had been doing so much of that, like blasting about our open house and networking and doing all that stuff, that I wanted to come back to, okay, just focus on me. What I'm going to do that makes me feel good? A little bit of journaling, walking outside, grounding.
Yeah, more you time.
A reset, kind of. That's like really what I needed. But it is so amazing to me, the power of a stressful event, whether really positive or really negative, how our body doesn't recognize the difference. So our nervous system becomes heightened. Our sympathetic nervous system, which is our fight or flight system, gets activated during times of stress. So what does that look like? Increased heart rate, not hungry. You're just like on the go. And
I didn't eat, by the way.
We were dealing with that for a whole week, trying to prepare for this, a lot of last minute stuff. I would say I was sleeping because we were doing so much that week at night, so I was sleeping. But even the day of the event, you're meeting new people. There's so much excitement. There's new stuff. Like this was our first event that we hosted, so it was new for us, and our body felt that as a stressful event. So it doesn't matter if it was like a bear chasing us or this event, but we were still so much on the go. And our body needed time to recover and come down from that.
Now I'm going to ask you something or comment on something is, this was an opening event, right? It was a one-time thing that we did. This also is very similar to people going through a life transition, changing jobs, becoming a mother or a father, getting a divorce, getting married.
Even like graduating and taking exams, like to get into a role.
Exactly. And I really want to make aware the importance that it's normal, the importance of resting, but also understanding that it's completely normal for you to just kind of shut down for a little while because your body is in so much need of that rejuvenation, right? Kind of resting our nervous system down, and it's like a recalibration,
Right?
Like an internal recalibration. And if we don't do that, we run the risk of actual burnout. And if we don't address and become aware that these are life events or situations that we need to recover from, these stressors become long-term, and then it becomes bigger problems.
So now I wanted to share a little bit for our audience, like what the signs and symptoms of potential burnout could be and what that looks like. And it ranges from mental to physical symptoms. So we'll start with mental. I think that burnout manifests from a mental perspective as anxiety, not wanting to feel like you have motivation or wanting to get out of bed, negative beliefs about yourself, irritability. I would also say you can have thoughts from a depressed perspective.
I was just thinking the same thing, that it might mask itself as depression, but it's really, you just need time out.
All these changes, you don't normally feel this way, and now all of a sudden there's brewing of anxiety to depression, and that looks different for everybody. From a physical standpoint, this can start manifesting as a acute illness. It's like regular virus. It can manifest as a chronic illness. It can manifest as eczema, hives, breaking out, acne, constipation, diarrhea, so irritable bowel syndrome, whether it ranges from constipation to diarrhea. A lot of times very targeted and pinpointed around stress or heightened events. What else could we say? Brain fog.
So, lack of clarity.
And then insomnia, difficulty sleeping, daytime tiredness, insulin resistance.
And then I already see you talking, and I'm like, it's a domino effect, because then you start going into so many other things.
Difficulty losing weight.
That's what I was thinking, was in my mind.
And these are just a wide variety. This can fit into, I would say majority of people nowadays are stressed. But when you get to that point of burnout, you know that there's something different. Your body is telling you from a mental or physical aspect, something's different. And a lot of times people do not pinpoint it to stress or burnout. They try to give it a different excuse. Oh, it must have been something I ate. Oh,
Or I'm just being lazy.
Yeah.
Or I'm just, I need to push more. They kind of actually gets to the point that they push themselves even more.
Yeah.
Which is completely countereffective.
Oh, and I wanted to add this, changes in menstrual cycle and hair loss.
Oh, yes.
So we do not attribute these signs and symptoms to stress and burnout, but they are actually the number one reason.
I didn't know that.
And so, yes, you can change the way you're eating. You can change, the way that you're sleeping. But a lot of times it's correlated to, like, what is your major stressor and how can we manage that?
And how long has it been going on?
Exactly. Is it an acute stress or is it a long-term chronic stress?
And that's where the life transition goes in, because you might have had a big life transition and you did not understand that you needed that rest and you just kept going. And the next thing
Right.
you know, it's like, oh my
Right.
God.
So like that's why people that like give speeches that normally don't public speak, they're like vomiting or like having diarrhea before, you know, like they have irritable bowel before because their body is so stressed. So it manifests that people start sweating, you know, everybody's different, but those are classic examples. And I'd like to give the audience time to reflect and, you know, how does that match with certain things that go on in their life? And I think we can move on into our next segment.
So I love the fact that you talked about what it might look like. Now let's talk about how we can help you navigate them to kind of bring you back to a restorative state in order for you to be successful. Because if you don't have the energy or the mindset, like you said, the brain fog, the clarity, the energy, all of the other things, how are you really going to even be successful and reach the heights that you have the potential for? So how do we use these signs into practical everyday solutions? And I mean, the first things that come to my mind when it comes to recharging is communication, right? Is if you're living with with your family, or if you're single or whatever, send a text to your friends. Hey, I'm just taking the day off. I'm going to,
Put do not disturb.
and put do not disturb. If you're in a home full of a lot of people, put like how they do in hotel rooms where they put, do not disturb or
Yeah.
whatever. Put the same thing. Buy them. They're like $5 on Amazon. Put it on your door, but also verbalize, because the last thing you want to do is isolate yourself. And then people are like, where is they? Where are they? And then they start getting worried. So,
And I know some companies that you have like a mental health day.
oh, that's good. I hope that would be more popular.
Yeah. I know bigger corporations allow it. Some hospital systems allow it, but
Yeah.
you know.
But communication, a good mental health day, journaling is also really nice because you just want to get everything out that's there. Grounding. Right now we're
grounding right now on our
grounding.
PEMF mats.
Yes, we're grounding right now. Less social media,
Mm-hmm.
right? Less
Less
stimulation.
pressure.
Just slowing down
Yeah.
in general.
Getting outside in nature, sunlight, walking outside, sitting outside. You can sit outside, journal in the sunlight. Look at that.
Yeah, and I also think and truly believe in affirmations and saying something to yourself like, I deserve my rest. I deserve my rest. It's a tool that you don't have to earn. You deserve it as a human being. There was actually a study, and I don't remember the exact name, but they did a study in, I think it was the redwood forest with trees, that they gave it some type of chemical so it can grow and grow faster and not have those resting times. And what happened was the tree died because it didn't have the season of rejuvenation, of rest, of kind of like just bringing everything back to homeostasis. You're pushing and pushing and pushing, and you're going to exhaust yourself to death pretty much, because then disease starts accumulating in that. So even in nature, there's the seasons for a reason, right? There's a season for blooming and shining, and then there's a season of rest. That's why bears hibernate, right? So we are not different from that. We deserve to rest.
I mean, I would like to start off by the prevention of chronic disease and illness. I think there's very powerful impacts that stress has on our body, and that ends up turning into chronic illness if we don't take care of our mind and body.
I agree with that, which then gives us the physical body, which translates into energy, and then clarity and sustained focus to achieve what we want to achieve. So, I mean, it just comes full circle, right? We give ourselves that time to recharge our batteries. We become more energetic, more focused, more clearer in our goals, our focus, all of the things that we want to do in our decision making. Who wouldn't want that?
Yeah, you can be the best version for yourself, for your family, for your partner, for your loved ones. And stress has such a powerful impact on all of those, on the mind and the body. And we're not ourselves.
Yeah. So I urge you to evaluate your life and see where you can fit rest in your life after a big event or a big transition in your life, because we need it. It is essential. It is a tool that we deserve. It does not have to be earned. So communicate and also ask for help during times of high stress or transitions in your life, because again, it is needed, you deserve it, and it helps you move forward. So again, if you feel like you're going through a life transition and you need rest and you don't understand what's going on, feel free to reach out to us for a free consultation. We would definitely be here to help you through the process.